Hello there, good afternoon. You're welcome back from the Government Accountability Series. You're watching us live from Gomon Street in Trade Fair, Accra. You're watching ABC Midday, and I am Peggy NyarkowaA Bannoor. Coming up in the next hour. Opposition New Patriotic Party calls for independent investigation into Ghana's curriculum development process following NACCA's withdrawal of a senior high school teacher manual over controversial gender identity content. The University of Ghana pushes back against the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission's published fees for the upcoming academic year, stating they contradict agreement reached at a high-level stakeholder meeting chaired by the Deputy Minister of Education. Still to come, the National Road Safety Authority has expressed concern over the increasing number of road accidents in the early days of 2026, attributing the accidents to the attitude of drivers. In business, the Trade Union Congress and the Public Utility Workers Union of Ghana have pushed back against the planned private sector participation into the operations of the Electricity Company of Ghana and the Northern Electricity Distribution Company. On the international front, at least 13 people have been killed and more than 30 others remain unaccounted for after a landslide struck eastern Congo. Stay with us, we have details of these and more coming up shortly. Watching ABC Midday News live on ABC News Ghana Television. We're streaming live on Facebook at ABC News GH_. Now to our stories. The National Council for Curriculum and Assessment has withdrawn printed copies of a senior high school teacher manual after acknowledging that certain contents on gender identity in the Year 2 Physical Education and Health Teacher Manual did not align with Ghanaian culture, norms and values. A revised version of the manual reflecting national values and biological understanding has now been released. The move comes amid allegations by Member of Parliament for Assin South, Reverend John Intim Fojo, that the government was promoting an LGBTQ agenda through teacher manuals and other teaching and learning materials in schools. The controversy centered on a specific definition within the Year 2 Physical Education and Health Teacher Manual, a supplementary guide developed in 2024 to aid teachers implementing the new senior high school curriculum introduced last academic year. In a statement issued the same day, NACA clarified the distinction between the official senior high school curriculum and teacher support materials, stressing that the curriculum itself contains no LGBTQ-related content. The Council noted that teacher manuals are supplementary resources meant to guide educators and their use is optional. NACA confirmed that steps are being taken to remove the old manuals from circulation and that all future updates will be made available digitally. Meanwhile, a member of the communications team of the opposition New Patriotic Party, Manasseh Atabuahin, is demanding an independent investigation into Ghana's curriculum development process following NACA's withdrawal of a senior high school teacher manual over controversial gender identity content. Speaking on ABC in the morning, Mr. Atabuahin argued that the incident raises serious questions about oversight, quality control, and accountability within the country's education management structures. He described the inclusion of what he termed un-Ghanaian definitions of gender in a teacher support manual as unacceptable, insisting that such content should not make its way into educational materials meant for use in schools.
You sleep on the job, yet under your administration you supervise the expression of such barbaric acts into our secondary school curriculum, how then do you get the confidence to come and sit here and be defending? It doesn't matter whether it is textbook. This is teacher's manual. You see the desperation. Abena, whether it is teacher's manual or not, it doesn't have to find expression in there. That is what we are saying. Don't come and sit here and it is the teacher's manual. So don't come and sit here and trivialize the issue. That is my worry. The bottom line is that those who slept on their jobs should be fired. We will not countenance such barbaric acts for them to find expression in our curriculum. How dare you teach our children some of these things? It should never happen again. The Minister of Education, you and your leaders at NACA, all of you will have questions to answer. You need to come demonstrate good faith to Ghanaians, and otherwise from henceforth you'll be introducing some of these things into teacher's manual. Don't come and tell us that teacher's manual is not compulsory. You can decide not to. We are not interested in that. Don't put those things there. Don't come and tell us that today, gender and inclusion, they should be guided with the way they are dealing with Ghanaians, and Ghanaians should rise up.
Still on this, Acting Deputy Executive Director of Operations at the Complementary Education Agency, Jiwonu Boli, has dismissed claims of deliberate wrongdoing in the withdrawal of the Senior High School Teacher Manual over controversial gender identity content. Speaking on ABC in the morning, Mr. Boli explained that the National Council for Curriculum and Assessment merely corrected a mistake inherited from the previous administration. He noted that the content in question appeared in the Supplementary Teacher Support Manual, not the approved national curriculum, and insisted that its withdrawal should not be misconstrued as evidence of an agenda to introduce LGBTQ-related material into Ghana's education system.
I respect it, unless of course they are telling us during their time they hold NACA's hand and say, if you are developing a curriculum, it said this, do this. That one we can give them some credit for polluting our state institutions. NACA is a professional body. Before you develop any curriculum for anybody, kindergarten, primary, GSS, SS, university, is NACA who has to supervise it. They have language experts, they have external reviewers, some within and outside the country who go through to verify that this thing that nobody slept on the job. It was a correction we are doing from their time.
From the entities.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have seen it. We are happy. Until then, when you raise even objection to some of it, they just brush it aside. But this is a listening government. State institutions are up and doing. They realize that this thing, even if indeed it happened, no, it is not. It shouldn't be the case. They withdraw the material, and that settles the matter. As you said, they will talk about it the whole month. So, as far as we are concerned, NACA is proactive. NACA is professional.
Still on education, the University of Ghana has pushed back against the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission's published fees for the upcoming academic year, stating they contradict agreement reached at a high-level stakeholder meeting chaired by the Deputy Minister of Education. According to GTech, publicly funded universities cannot review student fees without adhering to proper procedures, including seeking parliamentary approval as mandated by law. Accordingly, the university was also asked by GTech to credit all continuing students who have overpaid compared to last academic year's fees for the next academic year. Again, the university was to refund the difference to final year students who have paid in excess of the fees for last academic year and revert all dues, including SRC and GRASAC dues, to last academic year's rates, and in addition suspend any new fees such as the 75th anniversary dues and development levy if newly introduced, except for those that were already in place. In a letter dated 2026 and addressed to the Director General of GTech, Vice Chancellor Professor Nana Abba Apia Amfo outlined specific charges that deviate from decisions made during a consultative meeting on January 8, 2026. The meeting, which included representatives from GTech, the University Council, University Management, and student leaders, had agreed on key items. According to Professor Amfo, the approved UGSRC development levy was set at 200 Ghana cedis, not the figure later published by GTEC. Joining us on the line is educationist and former Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Charles Aheto Chega, to have further conversations on this. Good afternoon and you're welcome to ABC Midday News.
Yes, good afternoon.
All right. Now, let's start from the NACA conversation. NACA says the disputed content appeared in the teacher manual and not in the official curriculum. In practical terms, how influential are the teacher's manual in classroom delivery, even when their use is described as optional?
Okay, fine. Thank you very much. I'm surprised that NACA gave that answer, that it only appears in the teacher's manual, knowing very well that the teacher's manual provides a guide as to how you would conduct the teaching and learning activity. So to just dismiss the issue that, oh, it only appears in the teacher's manual but not in the textbook, is neither here nor there. It should not even appear in the teacher's manual, because once it appears in the teacher's manual, it becomes a content that the teacher can communicate. So again, it becomes a serious challenge in terms of how the teacher is teaching the thing. So I'm surprised that NACA would give that answer.
Right. Now, should their withdrawal now bring finality to the case?
Well, yes, it could bring finality into the case, but we want to wonder how many teachers have been fast enough to literally communicate this wrong impression about our whole understanding of gender identity. So I think that is where the challenge would be, and maybe it would be good to just remind NACA to do a little search as to what kind of information has been shared around the issue of gender identity when it comes to teaching, in cases where some teachers have already gone ahead in terms of teaching this kind of content.
All right. Now, some are calling for an investigation into the process, the whole process, how this manual was developed. Is it the right thing to do at this time?
Well, I don't know who's going to do that investigation, but I know that it's a committee that was set up to put that document together. And I don't know.
You have just 1 minute.
Hello, sir.
So it is essential for the committee members or key actors in that committee to come back and literally maybe render an apology in terms of that whole definition and then pull it out, so that will indicate that they really do not become complicit in the circulation of such unfortunate news in Ghana.
All right. Now, what quality assurance review gaps might have allowed such a sensitive content to appear in an approved teacher manual?
Well, it's unfortunate, as I said. The quality assurance process is to do a trialing of.
You have.
Hello, sir. We've lost Charles Aheto Chega, the educationist and former Director General of the Ghana Education Service. We are still trying to establish contact with him and get him back to have further conversations on development in our education sector, where we'll be bringing you more conversations on that, so stay tuned. But away from that, judicial service employees across Ghana will commence an indefinite nationwide strike on Monday, January 19. This move comes after the government failed to pay 8 months of salary arrears owed since last year. The Judicial Service Staff Association of Ghana announced the industrial action in a formal notice to the National Labour Commission, stating that its members can no longer bear the unbearable situation created by the state's failure to honor its financial commitments. At the heart of the dispute is a 10% base pay increase for 2025, approved by the President for all public sector workers, including judicial staff, to take effect from January 1, 2025. In more news, the Minister for Health, Kwabena Minta-Kando, has ordered a comprehensive audit of all health facilities in the Oti region as part of efforts to strengthen service delivery and safeguard patient safety. The directive, shared on Facebook by the Ministry on Tuesday, January 13, 2026, requires the technical advisor to the Ministry of Health, Dr. Koku Awuno, to constitute a technical working group to assess the structural integrity, operational capacity, and overall productivity of health facilities in the region. The order was issued during a two-day management retreat of a Ministry of Health and forms part of the government's broader agenda to improve oversight of health infrastructure and ensure that public health facilities across the country meet approved safety, quality, and performance standards. In addition to the audit, the Health Minister has directed the introduction of 24-hour cleaning services in all public hospitals nationwide to enhance hygiene and improve patient experience. The ministry said the intervention is aimed at strengthening infection prevention and control measures and creating safer, more patient-friendly healthcare environment. According to the ministry, the combined measures reflects its commitment to raising standards across the health sector through proactive supervision, improved facility management, and sustained investment in quality healthcare delivery. Right, now let's go back to our conversation with educationists and former Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Charles Ahetochega. Hello, sir. You're welcome back to ABC Midday News.
Thank you very much.
Right. I was asking about the gap in quality assurance review that might have taken place here.
Yeah, and I said that the quality assurance depends very much on the stage of the whole curriculum development process, which is called trialing. You should trial the content on, let's say, a sample of schools across the country, so that you can get feedback to be able to see whether the content is acceptable or you have gotten to the extent of the information that you want children to acquire within the curriculum. Now, I get the impression that that has not taken place. It would have been good for the ministry, which is now overseeing that process, to be able to get that thing to happen. So I think that the disconnect is something that reveals a kind of a poor connection between the ministry and the Ghana Education Service, which is responsible to literally disseminate this kind of curriculum within the schools.
All right. Now, so should heads roll, because some are calling for the sacking of the heads of of NACA, because they see this to be an unpardonable mistake.
Yes, so I think that now let me continue with the part that in the quality assurance, the part that concerns NACA. I don't know whether the committee that did this had a recall to NACA, because if you look on that document, I can't see NACA. If you look at it, I can't see NACA. Maybe my eyes are not good enough to see it, but I see a certain organization on that paper. Now, so if heads will roll, it is not NACA's head that should roll. It should be, you should go back to that organization that did that paper to find out whether you can let heads roll there. Now, whatever way the thing was done, it depends on the kind of individuals that were invited to provide information around that particular content. So you can't roll NACA's head unless NACA says that, yes, we got it and we failed to do this and we just put it on the system for the children to use. That is when you begin to hold them accountable for not trialing and going through that process with that organization to ensure that the curriculum is worth its salt. But for now, I mean, I don't know whether you might want to immediately roll your heads. You must find them culpable for certain errors to be able to do that.
All right. Now, Mr. Chega, let's take a look at the University of Ghana and GTEC's issues. What does the current disagreement between these two institutions, the University of Ghana and GTEC, reveal about governance, especially within Ghana's tertiary education regulatory framework?
Well, again, I always start with the fact that it's very unfortunate when the universities clash with GTEC. And I also think that sometimes GTEC, tries to do a number of things that the universities don't agree. So I think that somewhere along their relationship, there is a breakdown of communication and understanding, and the negotiation process becomes very, very, distorted to ensure the unity that one wants. So I think it is important that prior to coming out, there should have been some discussion with the universities before GTEC actually started talking about the whole controversies in all of this. I mean, the negotiation is very, very important. And so if they go ahead with this kind of thing, I am very scared that their relationship could be breaking down in the course of time.
Now, after the meeting on January 8th, the ministry released a statement that was signed, and it had the correlation with the GTEC's agreed fees. But now, University of Ghana is saying that they do not agree on the fees. We know the ministry and GTEC agrees to this set of fees, this set of amount to be paid by students, but the University of Ghana is saying no. What is the lapse in here?
It's strange because, again, the university came to the table with some information. And so one would have expected that that information could have been corroborated in terms of what GTEC had. And so there will be an agreement between the parties on what kind of amounts have been proposed and was being discussed and then agreed on. I was not at that meeting, so I don't know exactly what it is. But once the university has come out to say that that is not what we told you, then there is a need for them to go back to the table to go and discuss and ensure that wherever the wrong edges are, they smoothen it to ensure that the university processes go smoothly.
All right. Thank you for your time this afternoon, sir.
You are very welcome, and a happy new year.
Many happy returns. That was educationist and former Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Charles Aheto Chega. Now, away from that, the National Road Safety Authority has expressed concern over the increasing number of road accidents on major highways linking Ghana's key cities. The authority describes the trend as worrying, citing a rise in fatalities and serious injuries recorded in recent weeks, particularly along the Accra-Kumasi Highway since the beginning of the year. Speaking on ABC in the morning, the head of corporate affairs at the National Road Safety Authority, Simbiat Wuredu, said the authority works closely with the Motor Traffic and Transport Department of Ghana Police Service, receiving monthly crash reports to help guide targeted interventions and enforcement measures.
our data, the data we collect or we work with is something that we take from the police MTTD at the end of every month. And so as we speak, we know crashes are going on, crashes are happening, but unfortunately until the month ends, we wouldn't get the data. And so I think 6 days into the year, MTTD published some figures on their website, but we can't speak to that because the month hasn't ended.
Okay.
And so until the month end, we at the National Road Safety wouldn't get the data because we don't collect it ourselves. We take the data from the police MTTD.
Meanwhile, the National Road Safety Authority is urging all road users, especially drivers, to demonstrate improved attitudes on the roads. Head of Corporate Affairs at the National Road Safety Authority, Simbiat, who reduces indiscipline, speeding and disregard for traffic regulations, continue to undermine road safety education efforts. According to the National Road Safety Authority, a change in driver behavior combined with strict adherence to traffic laws will significantly reduce the growing number of road accidents recorded across the country.
We should be dealing with human behavior because irrespective of the nature of the road, irrespective of the systems we put in place, worldwide, if the driver doesn't change some attitude, doesn't consciously make efforts to reduce his speed, to ensure that he's driving safely, crashes may occur because road traffic or road commute and road traveling has got so many things in play. We have the knowledge to work with on our road, the laws, the skill of driving, and a whole lot. But we also have attitude, we have behavior. And so if you've taken all the education and you fail to work with it, you fail to comply with it, a lot will happen. Crashes may occur. Also, we need to be enforcing the laws. And so there's a school of thought that believes that enforcement starts with the individual, because we will not be finding the police everywhere on our streets or on our roads at all the time. And so we should make conscious effort to enforce the law.
Let's engage the Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, Abbas Imoro, on this. Good afternoon, and welcome to ABC Midday News.
Good afternoon.
Right. Now, the National Road Safety Authority is holding drivers accountable, the attitude of drivers accountable for accidents occurring on our roads. What do you have to say about this?
Well, accidents on our roads are things we are all trying to make sure it becomes a thing of the past. But one, we all have to comply by our driving rules and regulations. We always plead with the police to make sure they also help us with that. If I'm traveling from here to Kumasi, I know very well that if I speed apart 80 kilometers per hour, could be arrested. There is no way I could do that. No driver will do that. But here we are. There is nothing of that nature. Nobody checks on the highway, the speed, even the road signs erected by the road signs. Well, most often when you get closer to every village, they will direct you to reduce your speed to about 50 kilometers per hour. Are we doing that? These are some of the driving regulations. If we all go by, we could drive safe from where we are coming from to where we are going. So we are pleading the police will also be helping us on the road, make sure we do the right thing. Most of these accidents are also as a result of these private cars. they look quite flashy. The speed, they always try that speed unless it's overtaking. If a commercial driver trying to save the situation and gets involved in an accident, they just run and leave the driver and the passengers. So we are pleading. If we can all go by the road signs, the regulations, everything that we have, we will all be safe and the crashes will be reduced.
Right. You mentioned that there are no road signs at some vantage points on our roads and other incentives to warn drivers, but shouldn't the absence of these rather caution them to drive responsibly?
Yeah, that is what I said earlier, that the issue on our road crashes most often is from some of the drivers who drive recklessly. They ignore the road signs, although it is not everywhere that road signs are being erected. But by then, you being a driver, you should know where to speed and the speed limit you should go. And there are some other roads which are very bad. Nobody should tell you you have to reduce your speed and make sure you drive very carefully. These are some of the things that we always talk about.
Mr. Imoro, so what are you doing to educate or sensitize your drivers about road safety?
We always educate them. Every year at least the National Secretariat organizes all the regions road safety programs to all the regions. We've been talking to our drivers. We've been talking to ourselves, educating them. But you know, in every human institution, you can't get everything right. We are doing our best. It's just, we should also be very prayerful in addition so that our drivers will all heed to our advice. I would say it is not all drivers who belong to our union. So you can't say and you speak to your driver and that goes to every driver. Yes, of course, there are some people who are also recalcitrant. Well, we are doing our best.
Right. Now, what is the collaboration between the transport unions, the National Road Safety Authority, and the police MTTD in trying to curb accidents and reduce the number of accidents recorded?
We have excellent relationship with the police, with the National Road Safety Authority. We most often meet ourselves if there's anything our leadership need to talk. We've been doing it, so we have very good relationship with the police and the National Road Safety Authority as well.
All right. Thank you for your time this afternoon, sir.
You're always welcome.
Right. That was the Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, Abbas Imoro. Away from that, member of the New Patriotic Party Communications Team, Manasseh Atabuayen, has weighed in on the party's ongoing expulsion process following fake party remarks attributed to Professor Frimpong Boateng, stressing that no individual is above the party. Speaking on ABC in the morning, Manasseh stated that discipline must be enforced among all party members, regardless of their positions they may have previously held in government on the ticket of the NPP.
The party continuously, receive some comments by some top-notch individuals who have served as ministers before. When you analyze their statements, even when we were in power, statements they made, unfounded allegations, a lot of things that were untrue about some missing excavators, about some individuals in the then government engaging in galamsey amongst others. And today you hear that same individual saying that MPP is a fake party amongst others. Then it behoves on the leadership of the party to be able to crack the whip. Yes, we need to ensure that we instill discipline in the members. Nobody is above the party. It doesn't matter whether you've been president before, whether you've been vice president before, whether you've been a minister or an MP or a party financier. you are not above the party. And MPP, as a strong political party in Ghana, is.
In more news, Executive Director of Operations at the Complementary Education Agency, Jiwonu Boli, has criticized the New Patriotic Party over its decision to expel Professor Frimpong Boateng, alleging that the move is linked to the Galamsey report by the former Minister of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, which he says portrayed the party negatively. He clarified that Professor Frimpong Boateng's comments were directed at the current leadership of the party and not MPP as a whole, arguing that other party members have made even more critical remarks but were nevertheless pardoned.
Professor Frimpong Boateng never said the party is fake. The party, as in total, is fake. He said the party in its current form, or the current leadership of the party, is fake.
But isn't the current leadership of the party what defines the party?
No. I mean, they are founders. They are founding fathers of the party. They are elders in the party. They are people who hold different views as far as the party machinery is concerned. So he's only referring to the current leadership, few current leadership of the party. So it's very important for us to. In any case, there are people who said worse things than that. Kennedy Japan even said that. This party is full of fools. He doesn't even know why he belongs to this party. People say what, but we all know the crime of Professor Frimpong Boateng. The crime, his only crime was the report he authored as a Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, as a Minister of Science and Environment.
Yes.
When he said the party was deeply involved in Galamsey, and he mentioned Chamawuntumi and top party.
You're still watching ABC Midday News here on ABC News Ghana Television. Up next is business news.
Wow, new releases dropping, artists blowing up, moments going crazy on the timeline. Don't worry, we've got you.
We pull the highlights, the date, the event, everything you need to know, and then the real fun starts.
The official top 10 songs running the streets, the airwaves, and your playlists.
If the culture is talking about it, we are counting it down.
This is the rundown.
In the world of business, Trade Union Congress and the Public Utility Workers Union of Ghana say the sharp rise in revenue at the Electricity Company of Ghana is clear evidence that the utility can be turned around without being privatized if workers are fully supported and management is given a clear, enforceable deliverables. At a press conference on the proposed privatization by Public Utility Workers Union in collaboration with the Trade Union Congress, General Secretary of the Trade Union Congress, Joshua Ansah, pointed to results from a 6-month turnaround program implemented between July and December 2025.
Engagements involving the Public Utility Workers Union pool representing staff of UCG, management of UCG, and the Minister of Energy and Green Transition. A 6-month turnaround program was agreed upon and implemented from July to December 2025. The result of the turnaround program has been phenomenal. Verified performance data from this turnaround program indicate that UCG's average monthly revenue collection increased from approximately 900 million Ghana cedis to a record of 1.75 billion. Now, the turnaround program by NETCO. The Northern Electricity Distribution Company, NETCO, has faced significant challenges related to high distribution losses and inadequate revenue collection over the years. The northern area, particularly Tamale Township, records exceptionally high distribution losses, averaging.
Joining us on the line to have further conversations on this is Head of Research at COPEC, Polofori. Good afternoon, Tenny. Welcome to ABC Midday News.
Good afternoon, Peggy. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Now, you've been very consistent in standing against the private sector participation. Okay, the TUC and the Public Utility Workers Union are arguing that ECG's recent revenue gain showed the company can be fixed without privatization. How convincing is this argument, Paul?
Well, once again, good afternoon to you and to viewers. Yes, I have been in support of ECG's privatization, not privatization in its sense, but then we've talked extensively about the wing of ECG, which we believe should invite private hands into. Which angles are these? You recall that somewhere the beginning of the year 2025, the government set up a committee headed by Mr. Jabesh Amisata. Now, they submitted their report basically on the concession agreement where possible, and then also the possibility of inviting private sector, in there. They submitted a report to the Ministry of Energy. The Ministry of Energy also set up a steering committee, more or less, to implement that decision or that report from Mr. Amisata. Having said that, the ministry is still considering the models submitted by the earlier committee. There has not been any conclusive decision as we speak. Sometimes it's baffling the angle TUC and, for that matter, POO is coming from. Yes, they have very genuine concerns, some of them very germane. However, to the extent that we do not have any form of agreement with any concession whatsoever, I think that is a bit early on their part for these agitations. Mind you, the message has always been clear that ECG is not for sale. And from all the engagements we've had, clearly it shows that government is not selling ECG. Government is still going to maintain the ownership of ECG. What the case here is going to be is that certain wings, certain departments of ECG is where the private hands will come in. And so in terms of job security and whatnot, I do not think there should be any qualms whatsoever on the part of the workers kicking against the decision of government to invite private hands, into the operations of ECG. It is not going to be as PDS, and that is something we need to drum home and trumpet for the workers to appreciate. It is not going to be like PDS, where we had a full concession taking ownership of ECG. No. This time, what government is doing in terms of this particular model is that it is perhaps like we have Accra East, we have Accra West. A government will decide and say, let's give Accra East to Company A or Company B. What they will be doing is that perhaps they will just be in charge of the collection of revenue within that enclave, within that zone. And then also another company heading, say, Accra West. So it is going to be in that form. And I don't think that where you have such zoning done, there will be any loss of employment whatsoever in there. So I really think that there should be that engagement where the message is made much clearer for these concerns to be addressed, in the full glare of the public, just so we can appreciate the angles both government and entities coming from. Yes.
All right. So in all of this, what should the government do, considering the continuous resistance from POO and TUC? Should he halt it or continue the program?
The process must continue. However, like I indicated earlier, that engagement must continue. It shouldn't end. Listen to the concerns of these workers, their concerns are very genuine, very germane. However, on the part of government, I do not think that they've been able to sensitize, better yet, explain the model to these workers enough. And that is how come they are up in arms with government. If the processes are explained much transparent to them, maybe they will come to appreciate the government side of the bargain. But where it is not explained, in that angle, it becomes difficult for them to appreciate.
Okay.
From where we are seeing, they are even going to be employing a lot more than they have. So I do not think that there is really any cause for alarm as of now. Yes.
All right. Thank you for your time this afternoon, sir.
Thanks for having me, as always.
All right. That was the head of research at COPEC, Paul Ofori. And that is all for business news. Up next is sports with Eugene Ofori Soti.
Betway's Bet Influencer, a groundbreaking feature where you can make money by just sharing codes. He just needs to share his codes and make money. The more his codes are used, the more money he makes. Oh yes, so what are you waiting for? Anyone can be a bet influencer. Share your codes and make money. Bet Influencer, another world first from Betway.
This advert has been approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more.
Hello there, good afternoon. Welcome to the sports segment with me, Eugene Ofori. Let's kick off with the AFCON, where the Super Eagles of Nigeria faced host nation Morocco in the semi-final, where Nigeria are making their second consecutive AFCON semi-final appearance and will be looking to reach back-to-back finals in the competition. Head coach Eric Shaw has admitted the tournament has taken a heavy toll on his players, citing fatigue and mental strain after a demanding campaign. As a result, Eric Shaw revealed that Nigeria will look to concede possession to the host and capitalize on counter-attacking opportunities in a bid to secure a place in the final.
As I said,
pour moi, je trouve que mon groupe est fatigué.
Earlier,
donc il va peut-être falloir que je change.
I think my boys are a bit tired,
je suis dans cet état
so they will need to rest and regroup.
C'est-à-dire, ouais, on va peut-être jouer, on va peut-être essayer de laisser la balle.
We may have to allow Morocco to dictate the tempo, allow them to have possession.
C'était un peu difficile. C'était un peu difficile quand ils étaient dans contre une équipe qui jouait bloc bas.
Difficult.
On va sûrement commencer comme ça et puis on verra au cours du.
We are losing the floor. It's breaking.
Et ensuite.
So it's we'll have to decide on how we will behave later on. But we played 2 days ago.
Hier, un voyage pour Rabat. Il faut que je fasse attention. C'est pas commencer le match.
So we will simply need to be careful.
Tel ou tel joueur est fatigué.
We won't.
Well, Morocco's head coach Walid Regragui has guided the Atlas Lions to historic semi-final appearances at both the FIFA World Cup and the Africa Cup of Nations within the last 4 years. Despite those achievements, Regragui has faced mounting pressure and criticism of what some have described as Morocco's underwhelming displays at the AFCON, with sections of the public calling for his dismissal after the tournament. The Moroccan tactician insists such scrutiny comes to the job, describing it as an occupational hazard of managing the national team. Regragui maintains that he remains unfazed by the criticism and is fully focused on delivering on his mandate as head coach.
But it's good. It's from you. Look, in my country it's like this. You need to accept when you are the coach of national team of Morocco. Every result you have a critics. Is true. I do my best for my country every time. maybe I do a mistake sometimes, because every coach he do a mistake in his life, and is like this. Me, I'm stay focused with my team is what is important.
Well, Ghanaian international Antoine Semenyo has made a flying start to life at Manchester City, becoming the first player to score in each of his first 2 appearances in all competitions for the club since Emmanuel Adebayo in August 2009. The Ghanaian international only joined the Premier League side last week, but has already found the net twice in 2 starts, underlining his quick adaptation to Pep Guardiola's side. Speaking after yesterday's game against Newcastle United, Semenyo described his transition to City as smooth, saying he's enjoying the positive moments since his arrival. He added that he is carrying over the confidence and form he built during his time at Bournemouth, as he continues to settle in his new surroundings.
100%. Tough game today, but we just needed to stick in there. We knew we'd get chances, and that's just in the right area to tap it in, and obviously we're victorious, so happy.
Yeah, does it help the belief and confidence you've brought to the club? You've obviously been flying all season long, and you've picked up where you've left off at Bournemouth.
I think the whole environment here is perfect. Everyone's confident and wanting to achieve the best, so I've just come into that, and they've helped me with my confidence and made me feel welcome.
Different working for this manager, and obviously you've seen these players from the outside, but working with them in a couple of games and the little time you've probably had on the training pitch?
Yeah, it's been a lot, definitely been a lot, but I've enjoyed it so far. I'm definitely picking up things very quickly, and yeah, I'm enjoying it, like I said.
Crazy to think it was, last Wednesday that you...
Well, that's all the sports for now. I am Eugene Ofori Soti. International news is up next.
On the international front, former Burkina Faso Minister Yolande Viviane Kampori has been killed at her residence in Ouagadougou, according to an announcement by the capital's public prosecutor on Tuesday. Authorities said her body was found at her home on Saturday, with indications at the scene pointing to an assault followed by a murder. An official investigation has been launched, and judicial officials have urged anyone with information to come forward. Compaoré was a prominent political figure during the rule of former President Blaise Compaoré. She previously served as governor of the Northern Region, was a member of parliament for the former ruling Congress for Democracy and Progress, and held several cabinet positions, including Minister of Transport and Tourism. She also chaired the National Assembly's Committee on Foreign Affairs and Defense. Blaise Compaoré's government was toppled by a popular uprising in 2014, after which the former president fled to Côte d'Ivoire. At least 13 people have been killed and more than 30 others remain unaccounted for after a landslide struck eastern Congo in the early hours of Tuesday, local authorities said. The disaster occurred around 1 a.m. in Buruchi village in North Kivu province. Residents reported that hours of heavy rainfall triggered the collapse, which buried parts of the village and severed the main road linking the city to the provincial capital, Walikale. Nature struck violently and the entire hillside gave way onto Buruchi while people were asleep, said That's all for international news. Up next is entertainment news.
Rent back with the beer open. Come on, come see you. Wait, this guy. My friend, still before.
It's the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Win cash daily, weekly, and a grand prize of 1.2 million Ghana cedis. Just reload or buy a bundle with Telecel Cash to earn points and stand a chance to win big. Dial *500# or visit the Telecel Play app to opt in and start winning in the Telecel Too Much Money promo. Terms and conditions apply. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform.
When is campaign? If you're a baby, many schedule no. If you know, meto etiaka. Inti ene, uno banu mumpe baby amubeda. Oh, no abeka. You did too much money. No matter.
Telecel, connecting energies.
In entertainment, just when Ghanaians thought the controversy surrounding the burial of the late Daddy Lumba had come to an end after he was laid to rest, fresh disputes have emerged. Recently, following the musician's death on July 26, 2025, several controversies erupted, including issues surrounding widowhood rights among his spouses, autopsy, and the burial date, among others. Subsequently, a fresh controversy has emerged following the arrival of the late musician's wife in the country, as she has reportedly filed for letters of administration concerning Daddy Lumba's estate. According to the reports, Akosia Sewa appeared before Kumasi High Court on January 14, 2026, exactly a month after her late husband was laid to rest, and filed for letters of administration to manage the distributes the singer's properties. However, in response, the musician's other partner, Odobroni, together with a legal team, has filed a caveat to challenge Akosia Sewa's application. According to Odobroni's legal team, Akosia Sewa cannot consider herself the sole surviving spouse of the late Daddy Lumba and therefore lacks the capacity to independently apply for letters of administration. Following the filing of the caveat, the court has given Akosia Sewa and her legal team 7 days to prove why they should be granted the letters of administration to manage and distribute the properties of the late Daddy Lumba. That's all for entertainment news, and that's how we wrap up ABC Midday here on ABC News Ghana Television. For more news, log on to our website at www.abcnewsgh.com. We also stream live on Facebook at abcnewsgh_. I am Peggy NyarkowaA BANNOR. Enjoy the rest of your day.